we had another video before. We were talking about Sherry DeVille, who gave her own opinion piece concerning the Pornhub tapes. You know, and I'll say this at first. This is not in defense of Pornhub itself, but I'm going to tell you something. When I look at a lot of this stuff and a lot of things what people are saying and those who are involved, and I'm not talking about the YouTubers who have promoted this on their channels. I think they don't have the entire context of the nature, because there are people there that are questionable. I don't know them. I've never spoken with them. But you know, you've seen reports like on the Post Millennial and many other sites that, for example, one particular person who has been reporting this used to work for Project Veritas and was one of 16 people who signed the form that ousted James O'Keefe. And then, you know, of course, Project Veritas has fallen pretty much. It's no longer on there. That particular person has moved on to create their own investigation site, which there's nothing against that. But the question is, the footage you put out, I want to see the raw footage. I want to see completely the raw footage of the context of some of this stuff, because some of the names that were mentioned to the situation are mainstream people. I want to see the ads that they're talking about, because, you know, when I do look up these particular stories and I'm investigating, and I do go online to look at the particular sites and the advertisements they are, it's like Elon Musk says, show me where that there's this, you know, footage, information, hate speech, you know, all this stuff. Show me where this is at. If they are guilty of doing this, okay, that's a situation that has to be resolved in the courts. You know, you have evidence that has to be promoted on there. People saying things on a videotape, it depends on the context of that. And we've seen many a times that people have said things on videotapes, and how some networks have they've edited certain phrases and words, and they push that out as the narrative. But then when you go back to look at the video in a whole, and it's nothing to the way that they promoted the article. And this is, in a way, torturous interference to the situation, because you have guys like Morality and Media. You got the people in the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You have states like Utah that are pushing these age verification. They're trying to push out. They're trying these online safety. And you look that, hey, you know, what they're saying about Pornhub and a couple other adult sites is actually happening on Facebook more often than, say, these particular sites. Why is that? Why aren't they going after Facebook? Could you ask that? Could you really, truly ask that? Because most of these lawsuits, most of these things where they say, well, this particular person, there's like the lawsuit where 60 Girls is suing Aylo over their videos that were taken of them. Now understand, they knew the video that they were being recorded. And they're saying, well, long as it, you know, you can record me doing these little sexy things or porn things, long as it stays in the country, long as it stays in Australia and doesn't get put out.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, right. You signed a contract to that nature, then you need to sue that particular guy on that. But if it doesn't say that on the contract, well, then you stepped yourself into something that basically, once it gets into the net, that's it. That's all it's done. They said, well, we're only selling it on DVDs. it doesn't stop someone from uploading that DVD. You have to go after that person that uploaded it. That's a little harder to do. But today, we're hearing from Aylo, however you pronounce it, Aylo. They're going after the investigation company that did the Pornhub tapes. They're planning a legal action against this particular journalist. Now, one thing about journalism and stuff like that, you're doing investigative journalism, but you do it right. And you do fight for it because that's in the Constitution. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. But if you are tailoring it, editing it down to certain words, that's not being a journalist, that's being a propagandist. And like I said, I don't know this woman. I don't know, anything of her company. But what is happening here and what it's starting to look like, Aylo might have something in court on this. Elon Musk has already removed most of this on his site. I mean, there might be a couple places where it's still available on there, but they have removed it. It's not been removed from YouTube, but basically Elon Musk has removed most of these videos off his site. And this is out of Adult Video News. The journalists behind the so-called Pornhub tape series investigate videos have been threatened with legal action by counsel retained by Pornhub's parent company, Aylo, formerly MindGeek. Remember, and here's the one thing that I have to bring up, and this is one of the questions I have. Aylo is the new company that has bought over MindGeek. Some of these videos that they're showing, I mean, all these videos, their date, if the date is correct on the screen, it's prior from when Aylo has taken completely over. So in what context, what they're saying on there, was it before or after? Now it's after. You're talking about a completely different company. This is not the same company. Arden Young, one of the journalists from Sound Investigations, posted screenshots on X of the letters sent to her by Ryan G. Baker, partner and co-founder of the law firm Waymaker LLP. Sound Investigations has posted multiple videos on X, formerly Twitter, in which Aylo employees Dylan Rice and Mike Farley were surreptitiously recorded without their consent and under false pretenses. The letter states that the videos have been posted on YouTube. These videos of private, intimate conversations are highly misleading, heavily edited, and violated the rights of my clients. He then demands that Sound Investigations remove these videos from X, YouTube, and any other website which they may have been posted. Of course, obviously, we've heard from Sound Investigations and saying that they're not going to. Baker adds that the firm is investigating and exploring a legal remedy to address Sound Investigations' misconduct in the recording and posting the videos. In response, Young posted to her X account that she and her colleagues have no interest in complying with the letter. Will not back down, reads Young's post. We will continue the releases of undercut videos exposing Pornhub and its parent companies, MindGeek/Aylo. It's no longer MindGeek. You notice how they threw MindGeek in there. AVN's reported previously that an Aylo spokesman has called the videos misleading. The second release in the Pornhub tapes following an inquiry letter, predominantly conservative attorney generals from 26 states seeking clarification over Aylo's trust and safety protocols. AVN reported that Aylo's compliance team will return the inquiries from the attorney generals by the requested deadline outlined in a letter. The attorney general also insulated that Pornhub doesn't take CSAM protection and reporting seriously. Pornhub and its affiliate properties report voluntarily to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, cyber tip line program, the Aylo subsidiary responsible for managing Pornhub and its sister tubes sites, MG Freestyle, which is now Free Sites, reported more than 2,000 cases of potential CSAM to the cyber tip line program in 2022. Caseworkers at NCMEC has also sent only one takedown notification, and it was removed within a day. The third release in the Pornhub tapes questions virtual pornography, which is protected under speech on the First Amendment under the Supreme Court decision in Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition. That's virtual pornography or virtual child pornography is where a young adult performer can star or star in or produce pornography highlighted their age-defying features. In that case, the High Court says in a 1996 law prohibiting CSAM and child pornography, even simulated or virtual child pornography, broadly violated the First Amendment rights of industry professionals. And that is correct. I mean, you have a lot of porn actors and actresses that do look young. Some of them are the top porn stars today. A lot of them are in their 30s now. And they still look very young. See, the thing is, here's the thing that gets me. And this is what I've been reading in some places on there. Okay, understand. Men and women come in all shapes and sizes. And we're talking adults. We're not talking kids. We're not talking teens under 18. We're talking about adults over the age of 18. Let's say over 20. Just to make it more fair. Of that, women come in many different breast sizes, from almost flat-chested to really extremely large. There are many women that are below 5'6", and there are many women that are above 6'1" on a various occasion. And you have to put to that perspective is that, yeah, okay, they can play teenagers in a adult film. Yes, that's right. They do cheerleaders and Girl Scouts and, all that. But that's fantasy. Okay? And you say to yourself, well, how is that not child pornography? Well, let's put it in this perspective. Let's go toward Hollywood. There was a book in 1955 that came out that was called Lolita. If you're not familiar with the movie Lolita, it was based on the book. The 1962 version of it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. It was controversial at the time. The original one starred James Mason, Shelley Winters, Peter Sellers, and the young Sulin Lyon. And at the thing of the time, if you're not familiar with what it's about, the movie itself, it is basically about an older man coming into sort of a love affair with a young underage girl. And a lot of people were pissed off about that. The actual actress, Sue Lyon, and basically she was underage at the time. She was 14 at the time. And this is a Hollywood movie. This is a main Hollywood film itself. At that time, the rating system was much different. The Hays Code was out the door. A lot of films were coming out to that point where, they were going a little bit over the top. Now, should have been a 14-year-old be in this role? No, I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you this. The movie was remade in 1997, and it starred Jeremy Irons, and at that time was Dominique Swan, and she was underage also as well. So this was done twice. Now, you may say, so, well, yeah, they shouldn't have done this film. But the point I'm going to get to now, and here's the next part of it, is that there are films and TV series that have gotten people who were not underage, and they played certain underage characters. Perfect example is Game of Thrones. If you know Game of Thrones, if you've seen it, 8 seasons of this, understand is that most of the characters, and you go to season 1 on this, and yes, it goes through on there, and going by the book, certain characters were underaged. Now, the actors themselves were of legal age on there. Emilia Clarke, who played Daenerys Targaryen, according to the book, she was 15 when she was sold off to the Dothraki. Now, in the series itself, they kind of pushed it up because they felt that there was on there. They made her like 16 or 17 to that nature. But still, she was underage. Understand. And, considering that there was a sex scene on there, an underage girl in a time of fantasy, fantasy realms of dragons and warriors and stuff like that. Did it happen then? Yeah, it did happen on there. But not only her character, Sophie Turner, who plays Sansa, Kit Harington, Jon Snow, and a couple of other characters in there in the Stark family. The Stark men were underage as well. I think Robb Stark was also, 17 at the time. These are characters playing a role in there, and this is the same thing in the adult industry. You have people who play younger roles on there, not underage, but they're playing high school girls, they're playing high school boys, playing stepdaughters, stepsons, daughters, son, all that nature. And, some people say, well, I don't like that. Trust me, there's tons of literature, high-end literature, that it says it in there as well. Does it need to go away? In this country, it doesn't violate any law. It's a First Amendment act. This is not reality. And this is the same fight we have with anime and manga. Because they said, it's pornography. It's pornographic. No, it's not. It's not real. It's not, it's a cartoon. Have you complained about the times that Bart Simpson has been naked on The Simpsons? Yes, it has happened. It has happened. Or any other. Big Mouth. Perfect example. Big Mouth. For all the situations of Big Mouth, people do complain about it, but not as highly as anime, manga, or the porn industry. What are we, in the 7th season of the show? And there are nudity, there is homosexuality, there's a whole plethora of situation, hormone monster and all that. I enjoyed the first season. After the first season, it just started to get insane as far as the sex. And I said, Jesus Christ, can we get away from the sex for a bit? But that's all it was. It was like, at first you'd say, well, maybe they're growing up and all that. But they were underage. But nobody complained about it. Same thing with Cuties. All the people that complained about it and all that, but the mainstream were like, well, the director was a woman, and, she was strong, and, that basically she was trying to portray the problems on there, but why did you use 10-year-olds? Why didn't you hire 18-year-olds that look like 10-year-olds? Because there are 18-year-olds out there that, still look very young. That's the same thing with the adult industry. The adult industry, you got Jordi the Pollo, he's 29, he still looks like he's in his early 20s. He could fall for about 18, 19 years old. He has his own he has his own YouTube channel where he talks about the industry, stuff like that. And he has like 4 million subscribers on there. But yet, you know, you look at the tip lines from the Center of Missing and Exploited Children. You go down to Facebook and look at the report on there. 21,165 reports. Okay? Now, you may ask yourself, well, what about Pornhub? What about the sites on there? Okay, let's go down to, they're listed under MG Free Sites Limited. Under their main site, they're 91. Under Pornhub, they've had, and this is 2022 reports, 1,996 reports. RedTube has had only 6 reports. YouPorn has had only 2 reports. But you go back to Facebook. Facebook, 21 million. Google has 2 million on there. Instagram has 5 million reports on there. And you want to hear a funny one? NOSC, or Morality and Media, has 10 reports of online exploitation of children. You know, it's interesting. You can go to their site directly, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have a tip line that you're able to complain on there. But you notice the biggest level on there. I mean, Snapchat is 500,000. So TikTok has only 288,000, and you know they're known to push that out on their main, on their main feeds. Omegle on there, that site where it's a chat site, 600,000. And considering how weird that site is to begin with on the live chats, all the freaky stuff that comes on there. Twitter itself, 98,050. Twitch, 14,500. Once again, going back to Facebook. Facebook, 21 million reports of child sexual abuse material, child sex trafficking, online exploitation. This is what is on your sites. And you have to ask yourself the question, who is really doing this and who is not? And that's what you got to ask yourself. Look into this for yourself. You don't have to take it from me. Do the research yourself. Go to these articles, click on them. They have additional sites that you could go click to directly that basically will show you the information that you needed. There are tip notifications also. You see that when you look at how many things that they've pulled down and how long does it take, Pornhub takes about a day. Even though that is very difficult. I'll tell you this, I'm surprised it takes a day for them to yank something down. Because on a lot of occasions, you have somebody that might have multiple sites, multiple pages, and uploads it 4 or 5 times. I've seen this happen. The same particular porn video under different names. That happens on YouTube also. It does happen on YouTube as well. But, comment below, let me know. And like I said, this is not in defense of Pornhub at all. It's just giving you the open perspective that sometimes what somebody says about something, you got to be very careful on there. Be ever vigilant. In this country, it's innocent until proven guilty. It's not guilty until proven innocent. Always remember that. Is Pornhub guilty of that? We don't know. We have to go through a court on there. There has to be more evidence to the situations. And most of the evidence that they put online is stuff that basically you go to look for it, it doesn't exist. It's like the same thing with porn addiction and all that. Psychologists will tell you people have mental issues. You know, yeah, they watch porn on there, but porn is not the driven factor. Something is wrong with them, emotionally, physically, and they have to go talk it out. They have to sit and find out what is wrong. Could be family. It could be the job. It could be stress factors. You know, it could be to the point that, relationships don't work well with somebody. That does happen. There are those out there who have relationship problems. There are those out there who have problems talking to people. You know, they're locked into their own world. You can't blame the entertainment industry for that, whether it's the gaming industry, the music, the porn, the anime. You can't blame all this, and they've been blaming this for decades. You go back and look at the stuff that they were talking about in the 1990s, and some of the things, and you're like saying, gee, that was stupid back then. Why the hell would they do that? Looking at it for perspective. Perfect example, Night Trap, the game Night Trap. It's like you look at the game Night Trap, and you're like, that's not as violent as you thought it was. Compared to what we have today, compared to some of the games we have today, but the thing about it is, they say, well, the children are on that. If the parent is buying the certain video, the certain game, the book, or anything of that nature, it's up to the parent to basically judge what their child can see and not see. And when it comes down to websites like this, it's the same thing for adults. Don't tell me what I can't see and what I cannot see. I have First Amendment rights in this country. Unless it violates some law, what I'm watching, I could, for example, you are watching this right now, this transpiring, and I'm talking to you about this. There are those who want to make this conversation illegal. Yes, that is right. Meanwhile, the mainstream media has been lying about a lot of things lately, and they've been caught lies. But meanwhile, certain platforms like this on YouTube are trying to push mainstream media forward on top. This site is called YouTube, meaning you and me, not the mainstream media. Why are they on this site? Plain and simple. But you can call me crazy, you can call me loco, you can do, you can disagree with me, but always remember, I'm just the man with the show.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please comment, like, and share this video. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe as this helps the reach of our channel. Finally, as a content viewer, you have that ability to help support this and many other channels. Especially now more than ever since the passing of a new law in the United Kingdom that will diminish the reach of many channels and affect our advertisers. If you wish to help grow this channel by financial support, you have two ways. There are two links in the description below. The first will send you to a pay site where you can make a monetary donation. The second will send you to our gear store where you can purchase t-shirt, mugs, and other specialty items. Any additional discounts will be listed on the main page. Once again, thank you for watching and your support.